Thank you, Mr. Trahan. Thank you to the Great New Orleans Quarterback Club. It's been an interesting season so far. You know, we lost John Curtis in the opening week. You know, the guys played really well. We competed on all levels. I think JT has a great team this year, as always. But really excited about the young talent which we have. You know, losing 13 guys to scholarship last year, replacing these guys this year with younger talent, playing a lot of 9 and 10 graders this year, led by the senior quarterback, Leonard Kelly. But the guys are really gelling together, and that's what we're on our quest for. It's still early in the year, week 3. So a lot of special teams miscues and a lot of mental errors occurring early on in the non-district. So that's the stuff that we're trying to clean up. But really pleased with the continuity of the staff, and I think that's the main thing since we've been together at Carr. This is my 14th year overall. And for 10 of those years, you know, we've had at least 10 of those coaches stayed on staff, and I think that's the key part to being consistent in our play and our preparation. The following week in week 2, we played Madonna 35, another tough team. And this year we really wanted to test ourselves and playing a hard non-district schedule. We opened up with John Curtis, we played McDonald 35, we played Warren Easton this week, and next week we travel to Baton Rouge to play Baton Rouge Catholic. So the first 3 out of our 4 games, we played teams that played in the state championship. Just trying to compete and play the best teams so we can see what we need to work on and try to correct, you know, through this playoff push and district push. But for the most part, really pleased with the guys and what they're doing. You know, a lot of things are new to them, especially when we line up against Warren Easton on Saturday night. A lot of those guys dressed out for the games in those previous years, but you know, I don't think they understand the energy and the real impact of community base that comes with that game when we're talking about West Bank and East Bank of New Orleans. But it's always good so we could come together and play and represent the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana with well-played football. So, any questions for me?
Hey, Coach Brown, you mentioned the game you had with John Curtis earlier in the season, and is it true that you and Coach JT had a bet that the losing coach had to work with Ed Daniels on Friday Night Football?
No, JT had to go to Shreveport, so Ed suckered me in and I had to fill in for him. So, you know, JT will be back in his rightful place, in his rightful seat right next to Ed on Friday Night Football this Friday.
Coach, how many potential Division I players you got in this team this year?
In the senior class or all classes? In this senior class, this is one of our smallest senior classes that we've had. For the past 5 years, we've signed over 11 guys in each of the last 5 years. This year, we have 21 seniors, and I think out of the 21 seniors, only 9 of those guys are starters. So out of those 9 starters, probably about 8 guys that are going to play on Saturday next year. Yeah, we have our cornerback, Jamie Vance, who's committed to the University of Arkansas, and a lot of guys with a lot of offers who has not declared their intent yet. You know, Leonard being in the program for his 3rd year now in the system in which we run spread attack with multiple concepts, and he's been you know, steadfast in his progression as a quarterback. Anytime you can pass for 400 yards on a John Curtis team, you're doing your job pretty well. He played real consistent against 35, but we've tried to focus on the running game. He was 7 of 9 in that game, but you know, it starts and stops with him. You know, his consistency on and off the field, he's a good student. He's at 3.5 GPA, and I think that's the main part, that you can retain the information based on, you know, what your brain allows you to retain it. I think that puts us in a lot of in-game situations to where he can put us in the right play and audible to the correct play. Thank you, guys.